Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Square Root Academy Tutorials. Today we're going to teach you how to make your very own LCD Arduino scrolling application. Now, here are a few of the materials you're going to need. 13 jumper wires, a 180 ohm resistor, which as the name suggests, resists the flow of electricity. A potentiometer, which is an adjustable resistor that you can change the resistance by turning the knob. An LCD display, which is short for liquid crystal display. This is what we're going to use to output our message like hello world, or in our case, welcome to Square Root Academy. A breadboard, which is going to allow us to connect our Arduino microprocessor to the rest of the system. And finally, an Arduino microprocessor. Now, this is going to serve as the brain of our operation. We could use a Mega or an Uno, but for simplicity purposes, we're going to go ahead and use an Uno. Alright, now let's get to work. What you're looking at in front of you is a schematic of the entire system. Using this, we're going to teach you how to wire everything up and put it in its appropriate location. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and get your system powered up because, we kind of need electricity to make this thing work as a whole. So, in order to complete the circuit, what you need is a power source, which is going to be in the form of this 5-volt pin out here, and then you need the ground in order to really complete it and make it work and all come full circle. So, you're going to want to plug in your wires to this 5-volt here and connect it all the way down right there, and then this pin will go ahead and give it that positive juice. Then after that, you want to circle, or you just plug, take this ground pin out and plug it all the way down at the bottom right where you see this negative port here. What that allows is anything that's plugged into this entire column right here is going to have 5 volts of electricity running through it, and this one, anything that's in this column, will be ground. Alright, now that we got this thing powered up, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What these first 3 right here represent, this is how you're going to power the LCD from the Arduino. So, of course, you got your ground, which is no electricity. Then you have your VCC, which is going to power the module, the LCD module. Then you have your VO, which is going to be the power supply for your LED drive. So that's going to be pretty much going to determine how you dim it or make it brighter, or that's pretty much it, just one of those two. So what these 3 guys down here do is they enable the communication between the Arduino Uno and the actual LCD screen. Alright, so what you have down here is anything that you see with the DB in front of it, that stands for data bus. So what that means, it's pretty much how the data is transferred from the Arduino into the actual LCD and tells it what to say. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 wires and we're going to connect them from the data bus ports to pretty much any one of these numbers here. Anyone will suffice, but just for simplicity and to make it still look relatively clean, we're going to plug it into ports 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then you're going to take your 180 ohm resistor that we mentioned a little bit earlier, and we're going to plug it right here into slot J18 and then have it ground at the other end. But the placement of the potentiometer, it's a little bit more difficult, so we're just going to actually show you how to do this one here.
Okay, so this is what the bottom of the potentiometer looks like with its pins. So it has the 3 on the bottom. So this one up here is going to go to J23. This one's going to go to J25 here, and then this guy right here at the bottom is going to go into I24. So you're just going to go ahead and pop that in just like that. Alright, now obviously since this potentiometer is connected to a breadboard only and it's not really powered at all, what we're going to need to do is, complete the circuit so it's actually, useful. So we're going to plug this into G25 into the positively charged 5-volt column here. Now, in order to complete the circuit, we have to finish this up. So we're going to plug another wire into G24 right here, and then plug that into pin G17, which is going to be right next to this resistor here. Gotta have tiny hands for this, but we'll make it work.
Now that we've gotten the hardware aspect down, let's get to the coding. In order to do said coding, you're going to need to open up the Arduino software. If you don't currently have the Arduino software, that's perfectly fine. If you look in our video description, you can click that link and it'll take you to the website to download it for free. Upon opening the software, you're going to get a screen that looks something like this. All you're going to have is your void setup and your void loop. The void setup function allows you to initialize variables, pin modes, start using libraries, etc. The loop function, however, is where you're going to place all of your code. Code written under this particular function tells the Arduino what to actually do, what commands to execute. Then you're going to want to go ahead and enter the include_liquid_crystal.h function. This allows us to utilize the liquid crystal library, which has specific commands that will be used to communicate with our LCD. So what the static car array does is it tells Arduino that we're going to be using letters during the actual scrolling of the message. This will be used so you know it's using characters such as like A, B, C, D, rather than numbers like 1, 2, 3, which I'm sure you guys know. In position, however, is going to be int, which is short for integer, so it knows that we're going to use numbers now. The position is actually going to define where we're going to start our message. And in this case, that's going to be position 0. Now, in the parentheses where it says your message here, it is exactly what it implies. Your message is going to be here. So you can change that to make it say whatever you want, and that's going to be what scrolls across the screen. Us, however, we like it to say Square Root Academy. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the liquid crystal command to go ahead and define which pins from the Arduino are going to control our LCD screen. Under the void setup area, that's when we're going to define our LCD and really talk about how many rows and columns it has. The particular LCD that we're using has 16 rows and 2 columns. For this reason, we put LCD.begin. In parentheses, we have 16 for the columns and 2 for the rows. Next, we're going to learn the print command, which is really important. You're going to use this in a good amount of your coding. But in this case, we're going to do lcd.print and hello world. What this does is it tells the Arduino to tell the LCD to output hello world on the display. After doing this in our void setup, we're going to jump down to the void loop portion. Using the setCursor function, we're going to define where our message begins on our LCD. Below our setCursor function, we're going to introduce an if statement. This particular if function is telling our message to scroll across, and it's only telling it to scroll across 16 characters, and once it has gone those 16, it returns back to 0. Now we're going to do another print to the screen. Just as we did earlier with the hello world, this time we're actually going to print the scrolling message. And the final portion of our code is going to be the delay command. Now what the delay command is going to do is it's going to determine the speed of our scrolling. For our delay, we chose to use 250. Now that might sound like a lot, but each number increment of 1 is representative to 1 millisecond. So it says 250, but that's actually 250 milliseconds, which is just a quarter of a second, really. Alright, so that should go ahead and wrap up this project. So just go ahead and compile that code. Feel free to like and subscribe the video, share it, tell your friends all about it, and that completes it. Alright, see you next time. Happy coding.